so yellow with my lips like this. Hello everyone, this is Get Ready and Get Weird with Marcella. I am Marcella. We got pretty weird today and I'm ready for Halloween. Today we are covering Ophiocordyceps unilateralis, and that is the only time I will be saying the full name. From here on out, I will be calling it zombie ant fungus or cordyceps because that name is scarier than the facts of zombie ant fungus. I decided I would try to do my makeup as a zombie and I kind of succeeded. I also look just dead, maybe like a dead scarecrow with this shirt on. Who knows? But I have always enjoyed doing Halloween makeup when I get the opportunity. So I thought, let's take this opportunity of October to do some Halloween makeup. Why not? It's what October's for. I'm literally staying in my house during this pandemic, so nobody else is gonna see me looking like a zombie except my dog. And you guys now. Hey, thanks for looking at my face, since no one else does during quarantine. As I mentioned, today we're talking about zombie ant fungus, and it's kind of a short topic, but very creepy, and it makes you wonder, does something like this exist that can manipulate humans in the same way? Don't tell me if there is. I don't want to know. Keep it to yourself. I don't want to know if there's a zombie apocalypse actually coming for us. Thanks. I do hope that you enjoy this conversation. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video with anyone who you think would like to be spooked by some of the creepy, crazy, spooky things that we share this planet with. One of those being zombie ant fungus. Can you believe it exists? Let's jump right in. Let's talk about some zombie ant fungus and hope that we're never infected by zombie fungus spores that shoot out of our head to infect our fellow humans. Boo. Hello everyone, here I am with my clean face, ready to talk to you about zombie ant fungus. This was the perfect topic to start off our spooky October topics. This topic is also why when I covered ants before, I said I have some topics that I want to cover, but I want us to understand ants in general first. So this is a parasitic fungus that infects carpenter ants. There are other kinds of cordyceps or other kinds of parasitic fungus that infect other animals, other insects. We're just gonna focus on this one today. As for makeup, I'm trying to be a zombie. Zombie. So we know that this fungus is parasitic and that it goes after carpenter ants specifically. Researchers believe that this fungus, using spores similar to a plant's seeds, this is how they grow new offspring. The spores will land on a foraging ant, and when those spores land on the ant's exoskeleton, they will attach and penetrate the exoskeleton and then slowly take over that ant's every move. The only goal of this fungus is to disperse its spores and disperse its population. And the way that it does this is by taking over a carpenter ant, because the carpenter ants have the legs and the ability to move wherever it wants to, really, or in this case, wherever this zombie ant fungus tells it to. After the spores penetrate and enter the exoskeleton, so enter the ant's body, the fungus then feeds on that ant's insides. And as the infection advances, the ant is compelled by the fungus to leave its nest and find the perfect conditions for this fungus to grow and then disperse more spores into more ants, and so on and so forth. I'm trying to really lighten up my face. I'm trying to look like a zombie. The thing is, I'm even going to have to make my lips look dead. Ooh, that's a good look. You know what this lip color makes me think of? Early 2000s. Except it would have been 50 Shades Oranger. You know who you are. But I'm trying to be a zombie. It kind of makes my teeth look yellow. Don't look at my teeth, okay? So as the infection advances, the ant leaves its nest and heads for the perfect conditions for this fungus to thrive. The infected ant inexplicably walks and finds a leaf or a plant, climbs up it to the perfect height, which is about 10 inches off the ground, with the perfect sunlight, the perfect light, humidity, height, conditions, everything's perfect for this fungus to grow. And it clamps its mandibles onto a leaf in a death grip, and it can't let go. At this point, the ant is still alive, doing this to itself. I'm trying to really hollow out my cheeks, so I look kind of dead, like a zombie. I'm gonna go in there with some black, but I'm a little nervous, so, oh yeah. My sunken in zombie cheeks. So after the ant clamps its mandibles onto this leaf, it just stays there until it dies. There's no way that the ant can let go. It can't change its fate once the fungus has invaded its exoskeleton, invaded its body. And so while it waits to die, the fungus just continues eating the ant's insides and waits. So the ant dies, and then after a few days, the fungus will grow out of its head, and that's where the fungus then, the cycle starts over, because the fungus then can release spores off of this dead ant, off of this zombie corpse, and infect more ants to become zombie ants. Spooky. There are a few things about this phenomenon, this whole cycle, that is intriguing to researchers and people who study these kinds of things. One of them is the fact that as social insects, same as bees or any other insects that live in colony type situations, ants normally don't allow sick colony members to enter the colony or the home. And this specific parasite does not sound that same alarm. So an ant that has been infected with this fungus will not be kicked out of the colony. The goal of this fungus is not to infect an entire colony. an ant being in its colony will not harm the entire colony. One ant walking around the colony with this parasitic fungus inside of its body, eating away at its body, causing this whole cycle, will not infect the rest of the colony, which is incredible. And there's a reason for this. The reason is this parasitic fungus needs colonies of ants to survive in order to continue spreading its spores around the forest. So the ant is welcomed back into the colony. No other ant even knows that it's a zombie, that it's technically dying, that it's inside, it's been taken over by this fungus. Then that ant will go die and shoot spores out of its head to infect other ants. I just think that's incredible. It's starting to look spooky. So, in order for the ecosystem to stay balanced, there has to be some ants, and the cordyceps do have to spread their spores around, but there has to be a balance. So that's kind of what has worked out. An ant can be infected. They don't know how to get rid of the infection, but it will not impact the other ants directly. Like an ant walking by another ant with this cordyceps in it, with this parasitic fungus inside of it, will not infect the ant that it walked by. It could infect that ant if a spore that shoots out of its head later on down the line does infect that ant. So that's that. This feels so disgusting on my lips. Like, this is the driest, zombiest lips I've ever seen. And due to this balance, only a few ants from a given colony are infected at one time. It's not going to infect a bunch of ants all at once. A few other interesting things about this specific parasitic fungus is that it doesn't invade the brain, which that kind of strays from our human zombie lore. Our human zombie lore is that zombies eat brains, or that there's an infection that infects our brains as humans, and that's what makes us into zombies. And in this zombie ant fungus, the fact is that it doesn't even get to their brains. It controls the ant's every move without even entering its brain, which I find completely intriguing. It basically creates like tubes, like tunnels throughout the ant's whole body, but avoids its brain completely. So as it creates these tunnels in the ants' bodies, through the ants' insides, it also surrounds the ants' muscles, and it controls the muscles that way. So instead of controlling the ant's brain, the fungus directly controls the ant's muscles. Oops, now I messed it up. I just wanted to look like maybe I snacked on some blood earlier. Did that sound like a zombie? Probably not. Adding the actual lipstick made them look too pink and alive. We don't want to look alive. Trying to look like a zombie. There we go. Better. Now we can add the black that I liked to make me look dead like a zombie. Currently, there are researchers in Thailand and the United States studying these specific kinds of cordyceps that infect other species of ants besides just carpenter ants to compare how they control these animals. These researchers have identified over 200 species of these Ophiocordyceps. These 200 species can infect over 10 different insect types as well as spiders. So while today I focused only on this specific kind of zombie fungus that infects carpenter ants, they can infect many other different kinds of bugs and spiders. Not every single species of Ophiocordyceps causes the mind manipulation or behavioral control. I included a couple of examples of these Ophiocordyceps. One infects a caterpillar and it erupts as a unicorn-like horn out of the head of this caterpillar. And in traditional Tibetan and Chinese medicine, this unicorn horn is used. People claim that it helps with cancer treatment, immunity, as well as being an aphrodisiac. It's a wide range of uses for a unicorn horn. Similarly to the way that we have a microbiome in our gut and we like to keep that bacteria and flora happy, bugs have this kind of fungal growth in their guts. And as researchers, as scientists, are not able to grow fungus and fungal matter as easily and precisely in the lab as like bacteria, only a very small amount of this fungus has been studied closely enough to understand the components or characteristics of fungus. Sometimes it is hard to understand this microbiome, microfungal situation going on in a bug's gut. And it can be even more difficult to understand what fungus causes manipulation or behavioral changes to these animals, to these bugs and spiders. There are other parasitic fungi that I decided to include. There's one that similarly to these ants causes flies to go to a specific height, the perfect height, I'm sure the perfect conditions for this specific fungus. And it glues its mouth, similar to the way that the ant bites down and stays that way. It glues its mouth in a position like upside down so that the spores can shoot out of the fly's abdomen. It's very similar to the way that this zombie fungus manipulates ants. Another very zombie-esque scene that you can imagine is the fungus that infects cicadas, which we've covered. And this fungus pumps the cicada full of hallucinogenic drugs and causes part of the cicada's abdomen to fall off. So you know in the zombie movie scenes where you see a zombie crawling with no legs and its guts are coming out, picture that, but cicada version. And then that bare-bottomed cicada wiggles its way to death and spore dispersal becomes a spore dispersing mechanism for the fungus. All right, so that is what I have to share with you about this zombie ant fungus. And here is my final zombie look. I hope that you're scared. Thank you so much for sitting and talking to me while I did this creepy zombie look and talked to you about zombie ant fungus. I hope that you learned something about this interesting fungus. And I also truly hope that I never find out if there's a fungus like this that can infect humans. Don't tell me if you know, because I don't want to be nervous and think about it all the time. We covered what this zombie ant fungus is, how it kind of manipulates its host without even getting to its brain, some of the behaviors that the ant displays by climbing up, chomping down into a death grip, and then dying and dispersing the spores out its head. And we did a creepy, kooky makeup look. I now look like a zombie and I need to decide if I'm gonna go in public like this. The answer is no, I'm not. I'm so glad that you're here. I hope that you like, subscribe, share this video if you know someone who would like to learn about zombie ant fungus, and I hope you all are enjoying October and you stay weird.